They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Donald Trump noted that one great president, Dwight Eisenhower, deported illegal immigrants just as Trump would if he is elected.
Moved 1.5 million illegal immigrants out of this country.
Eisenhower's policy was named Operation Wetback.
But believe me when I tell you, Mr. Trump, that was brutal what they did to those people to kick them back. I mean, the stuff they did was really brutal. It could never happen today.
One Trump enthusiast includes white nationalist and former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard David Duke.
They shot these people down like dogs.
Seeing the civil rights movement as a threat to white rule, the Klan went on the attack. Between 1955 and 1965, Klansmen or Klan sympathizers carried out over 200 bombings and murdered 40 civil rights workers.
These homosexuals, race mixers, Jews, they will all be the fertilizer in the land.
Trump supporters pushing a woman out of yesterday's rally in Louisville. You can see several people inside the Kentucky International Convention Center shoving the protester. The woman in the video tells WOKY many people there yelled racial slurs at her.
These are not people. Just remember that. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one.
It's a shocking moment as a Trump supporter cold cocks a protester. Boom! An elbow right to the face. Watch from a different angle. The protester never sees it coming. He's wrestled to the ground by deputies. The guy who smacked him goes right back to his seat.
Did you like the event?
You bet I liked it.
Yeah? What'd you like about it?
Knocking the hell out of that big mouth. We don't know who he is, but we know he's not acting like an American.
So he deserved it?
Every bit of it.
What was that?
Yes, he deserved it. The next time we see him, we might have to kill him.
And they, I don't know, rough up. He should have been, maybe he should have been roughed up.
This is not the American way.
I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. That's true. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
One interview that he gave where he said he wouldn't rule out making all Muslim Americans register in some sort of database and carry a special ID, shades of Nazi policy for the Jews in 1930.
There are two really important things to remember about the First Amendment protection of free speech. The primary reason to have freedom of speech is to allow for public criticism of the stupid government. Stupid government. That's the sort of thing that can land you in jail in countries that don't have strong free speech protections. Or should I say, you would be Putin jail.
Once a bastion of independent journalism, NTV is now controlled by a government subsidiary that dictates editorial policy.
Ну, ты понимаешь, 60 минут это расследовательская журналистика, да? У нас сегодня нету расследовательской журналистики. У нас нет журналистики сегодня.
As the other two national television networks are also Kremlin-controlled, there's no place for freedom of speech.
He kills journalists that don't agree with him.
I've always felt, fine about Putin. I think that he's a strong leader. He's a powerful leader.
Do we like the media? Do we hate the media? It's absolute dishonest, absolute scum. Remember that. Scum. Scum.
Donald Trump wants to be president, so he will be scrutinized. That's the way it should be in a free society.
We just took the press credentials away. I love it.
I'm a reporter and don't touch me, sir. Don't touch
Go.
me. You cannot touch me. I have the right to ask a question.
I think you've set a new bar today for being contentious with the press corps, kind of calling us losers to our faces and all that.
No, not all of you, just many of you.
All right, fine. Enough of us. Is this what?
Not you, David.
Is this what it's going to be like covering you if you're president?
Yeah, it is. Let me tell you
We're going to have this
something.
kind of confrontation in the
person-
press room?
Okay, yeah, it is going to be like this, David.
So the Constitution deals with religion right there in the First Amendment, which is also the one that deals with speech and the press and assembly and petitions. Here's what it says. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. It's the first clause in the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights, so it's pretty darn important.
You can't ban everybody from one religion. That's the most un-American thing you can do. It's in our Constitution that we have freedom of religion and all religions are welcome. It is the core of America.
Donald Trump, you're asking Americans to trust you with their future. Let me ask you, have you even read the United States Constitution? I will gladly lend you my copy.
But it's Roe versus Wade, Wade being the Dallas district attorney, I believe, that argued this case at the district level first. So in the district court, Roe is arguing the constitutional argument that abortion should be a guaranteed right under the Constitution. And she uses her lawyers, a number of different amendments, and the district court sides with her. They use the First Amendment, that the abortion laws are really based on a religious belief. They use the Fourth Amendment, that there is a kind of a privacy in the Fourth Amendment that extends through the 14th Amendment. They use the Ninth Amendment. Ninth Amendment are undefined rights in the Constitution. And then, of course, I've already said the 14th Amendment, which makes this a federal case, that no state shall deny its citizens due process. And in a sense, they're arguing that these amendments combined create kind of a zone of privacy.
We appoint strict constructionists to the Supreme Court of the United States, as Donald Trump intends to do. I believe we will see Roe versus Wade consigned to the ash heap of history where it belongs. I promise.
Hola, les voy a contar cómo se hace. Cuando esté a punto de pasar a color amarillo, elige un auto que aumente notoriamente su velocidad. Asegúrate de chocar de frente. Estómago para choque. Y cruza.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Donald Trump isn't exactly known for thinking in foreign policy details.
My foreign policy will always put the interests of the American people and American security above all else.
But recently, Trump got specific about something important: NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And what he said shocked everyone. NATO is a military alliance between the US, Canada, and a large chunk of Europe, basically saying if you attack one of us, you'll get a response from all of us. NATO has grown since to include 28 countries, including former members of the Soviet Union. It intervened to end the Bosnian War in 1995 and responded to the 9/11 attacks with a decade-long mission in Afghanistan. The alliance has helped keep the peace in the Northern Hemisphere for more than half a century. And now, Donald Trump is threatening to destroy the whole thing.
I mean, it's the most successful military alliance in the history of the world. I want to reassure our NATO allies that should any of them be attacked, we'll be there to defend them. And I'm willing to kind of chalk it up to a rookie mistake.
But Trump isn't backing down.
If Mitch McConnell says that, then he's wrong.
Would I approve waterboarding? You bet your ass I'd approve. In a heartbeat.
One of the things that I think the public has a misconception about is that the worst of the worst are incapable of being talked to and that they will never cooperate with you despite your best efforts, and that the only way to get them to cooperate, because everything is time sensitive and we need actionable intelligence, is that you have to rely upon harsh interrogation techniques. If you want to recruit young jihadis, if you want to elevate the likes of KSM, Abu Zubaydah, al-Nashiri, Ramzi bin al-Shib to mythical status, torture them. Admit that you tortured them. Because when they're ultimately convicted, and whatever their ultimate fate is, there will be poems, songs, and their images are going to be emblazoned all over that world.
And don't tell me it doesn't work. Torture works, okay, folks? Torture, have these guys. Torture doesn't work. Believe me, it works, okay? And waterboarding is your minor form. Some people say it's not actually torture. Let's assume it is. But they asked me the question, what do you think of waterboarding? Absolutely fine. But we should go much stronger than waterboarding. That's the way I feel.
In the next clip, you're going to see John McCain talks about why he personally knows that torture does not work as a means of gathering information.
I have long believed some of these practices amounted to torture, as a reasonable person would define it, especially, but not only, the practice of waterboarding, which is a mock execution and an exquisite form of torture. Its use was shameful and unnecessary, and contrary to assertions made by some of its defenders, and as the committee's report makes clear, it produced little useful intelligence to help us track down the perpetrators of 9/11 or prevent new attacks and atrocities. I know from personal experience that the abuse of prisoners will produce more bad than good intelligence.
Because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true. I don't care. I don't care.
But we see that
and the
happening
other
in
thing
Ramadi.
is with the terrorists, you have to take out their families. When you get these terrorists, you have to take out their families. They care about their lives. Don't kid yourself. But they say they don't care about their lives. You have to take out their families.
Joining us now, Executive Director of the Terra Asymmetrics Project on Strategy, Tactics, and Radical Ideology, Malcolm Nance. He's a combat veteran and a retired U.S. Navy intelligence collections operator.
Everybody thinks that you can just bomb these people, and we have been fighting this exact same group since before 9/11, actually since 1991. This is Al-Qaeda's extended ideology, but in sort of a flash mob mentality. I don't think Donald Trump has a clue as to who ISIS is. I don't think that he understands the depth of their commitment, and certainly not the ability to root them out.
And what he thinks about being the star of a terrorist recruitment video.
Let me ask you about a video that's been put out by Al-Shabaab. This is an ISIS-affiliated terror group. And in the video, they use you, Donald Trump, a clip.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
And then the video goes on and says, the West will eventually turn against its Muslim citizens. They're saying to Muslims, either you join jihad or leave the United States because of what Mr. Trump is proposing.
Look, there's a problem.
50 former national security officials who served Republican presidents, including the 3 men seen here, have signed an open letter declaring they won't be voting for Donald Trump. Writing, from a foreign policy perspective, Donald Trump is not qualified to be president and commander-in-chief. Indeed, we are convinced he would be a dangerous president and would put at risk our country's national security and well-being.
Some of Donald Trump's positions are new to American politics and frankly could alter the security of everyone on this planet. For decades, one of the bedrocks of American foreign policy has been stopping nuclear proliferation.
So you have no problem with Japan, South Korea having nuclear weapons?
At some point, we have to say, you know what? We're better off if Japan protects itself against this maniac in North Korea. We're better off, frankly, if South Korea is going to start to protect itself.
Saudi Arabia, nuclear weapons?
Saudi Arabia, absolutely.
You would be fine with them having nuclear weapons?
No, not nuclear weapons, but they have to protect themselves.
But if you say to Japan, yes, it's fine, you get nuclear weapons, South Korea, you as well, and Saudi Arabia says we want them too.
Can I be honest with you? It's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen anyway. It's only a question of time.
It's going to happen anyway.
Everybody was asking me about his mental health. Everybody was talking about his mental health yesterday. Everybody was calling me saying, what's happening to him? What is wrong with him? It seems so disconnected from reality and standard norms of human behavior.
he's denying in his response to Bill O'Reilly that he got in a fight with these people over the weekend that we all saw.
Yes, and that's a common thing for folks with character disturbances to do. It's not that they don't know what they do. It's simply that they feel entitled to do it.
I would say that someone who spends time creating a very grandiose view of themselves, you know, I'm the best in business, I'm sexually the best, all the women want me, and will break the rules, lie, do something unethical for the purpose of that, it certainly makes you think about intense narcissism, right? Everything has to refer to me, and I have to be the best.
What might that say, if anything, about his judgment as, say, a commander-in-chief? I mean, would it worry you to know that those characteristics are a part of him?
It depends. When it also moved into being incredibly self-centered, in other words, no empathy, everything has to refer to me, I always have to be at the center and it has to be about me, that did not correlate with greatness.
Narcissists are pathological liars. They lie all the time. They don't not only embellish or embroider or confabulate, which all of us do from time to time, but they constantly, blatantly, bold-facedly lie. And all of them do it. The traits and features and behaviors which are common to all narcissists, malignant or not, are sufficient to disqualify him as President of the United States. Many politicians have a narcissistic style. Many of them even have narcissistic personalities, but extremely few have a personality disorder. Donald Trump, in my view, would satisfy most of the criteria for a personality disorder. We can only evaluate. As we have evaluated Adolf Hitler or Saddam Hussein or others, we can only evaluate Donald Trump.
It's the nightmare scenario that every president and his chief of staff must face. The possibility of activating the football, the briefcase equipped with codes for launching a nuclear attack.
It is not hyperbole to say that if Donald Trump becomes president, he will have the ability to more or less annihilate all life on this planet. Scarborough's comment this morning prompted a tweet storm from someone who used to advise Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush on national security during their campaigns, and who also happens to be someone who used to be at the switches to launch a nuclear weapon. John Noonan, who went on a remarkable tweet storm writing in part, "Buckle the hell up," and nuclear deterrence is about balance. Trump is an elephant jumping up and down on one side of the scale. So damn dangerous. And John Noonan joins me now. Mr. Noonan.
And to see Donald Trump play so loose and so fast and so callously with such an important responsibility, it's hard to watch.
I think you have to ask yourself, do I want a person of that temperament control the nuclear codes? And as of now, I'd have to say no.
Matthew Waxman has served in a number of senior positions at the State Department, the Pentagon, the National Security Council. Matthew, thanks so much for joining us. I want to read a quick part of this letter right now for our viewers right now. You say of Donald Trump, he is unable or unwilling to separate truth from falsehood. He does not encourage conflicting views. He lacks self-control and acts impetuously. He cannot tolerate personal criticism. He has alarmed our closest allies with his erratic behavior. All of these are dangerous qualities in an individual who aspires to be president and commander-in-chief with command of the U.S. nuclear arsenal.
When you have the nuclear codes at your fingertips and the military in your command, you can't make snap decisions. You can't have a thin skin or a tendency to lash out. You need to be steady and measured and well-informed.
What concerns you most about Donald Trump?
How erratic he is, but he's inconsistent. And when you're the head of a global superpower, inconsistency, unpredictability, those are dangerous things. They frighten your friends and they tempt your enemies. And so I would be very, very concerned.
Several months ago, a foreign policy expert on the international level went to advise Donald Trump, and 3 times he asked about the use of nuclear weapons. 3 times he asked at one point, if we have them, why can't we use them?
Trump asked 3 times.
3 times in an hour briefing, why can't we use nuclear weapons? With that.
Be careful, America, and be careful, Republican leaders.